Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. Great article here from Fierce Network. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So, why Verizon's $3.3 billion tower deal is a little surprise or a little surprising, right? A lot of people were saying that. And it was really mainly the fact that they were still operating the 6,000, what is it, 6,339 towers, that they were still managing, owning, and operating those. That was mostly the surprising part. But now they sold that off to Vertical Bridge in a $3.3 billion deal. Verizon gets a $2.8 billion cash infusion, if you will. That's the cash portion that they get. And, it's sold, and now the portfolio is more diverse, whatever, right? The tower portfolio, and then Verizon will just lease those sites back, and now they move on, right? But they still have a lot of work to do. They still have a lot of work to do besides just creating more cash infusions, right? Selling tower assets. There's still a lot of C-band out there that needs to be deployed. So I could see, and this is just a possibility, right? I could see Verizon adding more capex here and there to further accelerate the C-band deployment. Let me explain. So, yes, Verizon has accelerated at the very beginning. They are very deep into the deployment of C-band, but I feel Verizon really wants to get to that last phase, and they want to do it very quickly. Right, there are still urban markets, mid-sized markets that have a lot of LTE only sites sitting there. And yes, they're getting into the rural portions of the country now, which is more spread out. It's naturally going to take longer. But there are still sites in the boroughs of New York. Even by me, there are still a good amount of sites in the county that are sitting on LTE heading into 2025. So they can cover those areas and claim C-band because they do the intercell, they stretch other sites that have C-band. That's all good and dandy, but there's still a lot more to deploy. So they still have work to do. So I could see them sneaking off some cash. I don't know if that will happen, but I could see them sneaking off some of this cash infusion perhaps and upping the capex a little more. I don't want to say it's needed, right? If they're okay with how the network's performing and it's fine, and then they're just going to gradually scale the rest, then that's fine too. And that might be what they end up doing, right? They just finish out the rest of this year. We got November, December, 2025. You put that new capex to work, right? You push out the capital allocation, and you just continue to put your head down and deploy on sites. But I tell you guys what, I haven't seen any newer permits for existing sites. The only thing that I have seen are just new sites being deployed left and right. So that's a bit interesting. It looks like they moved funding around to deploy new sites, but old sites are just sitting dormant, not being touched because they're moving the capital allocation, right? Whichever works, right? If new sites are needed, then new sites are needed. I'm not against it, but if capex was a little higher, perhaps for the wireless portion, they might be able to do both, right? It's very possible. But for now, that's kind of the situation, and they're working as fast as they can, right? They have to deal with tower crew limitations. Perhaps we're heading into the winter months, so that naturally just slows down a portion of the country. So there's still a lot of work to do. This deal is good, right? It gives them $2.8 billion in cash. And then, who knows what else they can sell, right? Quite possible. We'll see. But just wanted to talk about that, right? There's still a lot of work for Verizon left to do on the C-band front. They're getting there, right? More and more and more towers are getting C-band. And yes, we understand they started late, but they did accelerate. They spent a specific amount of money on just deploying C-band, so we have to take that into consideration. And there are still sites within the mid-sized markets, urban markets that are sitting there without any C-band. So still lots of work to do, even for Verizon. They're better off, right? I think it was recently announced 90% of sites have backup generators. So they've made a lot of strides on that front, right? The redundancy, the reliability. But now, the last piece, I feel internally they want to get to that last phase, right? You just want to get this part over with. You don't want that to go into 2026 and still sit there and say, hey, we got 15 more sites to deploy with C-band, right? You don't want it to get to that point. So we'll see what happens. I'll tune in with the sources, see what they tell me. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you're seeing in your area. Do you still have sites without C-band? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow the social media outlets. See y'all in the next one. Peace.